here we are going to study what is a variable. So when we think about a variable, so here is a simple definition of what is a variable, as we can go through it. So in simple terms, by in real life example, when suppose you use a box, it is a box and its name, let's say the name of this box is books, so before books, so inside it we store books. So just like this, we can consider this box to be a variable and the books inside it are data. So in programming, we label a memory location and store some data in it. This labeled space, this space you can box, is called variable. So why do we need a variable? Why is a variable so important? So in real life applications, the values that the data that we put inside this our variable have something that constantly changes. Suppose your age, your name, or your marks. So variable give us that freeness, that flexibility to change this data inside it. So without variable, this data will be fixed inside it, so we can't change it, so that will be not useful for us. That's why variable are very important. So variable makes our program dynamic, flexible and interactive. So here we will study some of the most commonly used data types. So these are the data types that we mostly use while declaring a variable. And in next slide, I will tell you how to declare what is variable declaration, and how to declare it. So let here we study some of the most commonly used data types. So first we have integer, float, double, and char. In integer, we stores numbers. It can be positive or negative. In float, we use this to store decimal values. So it is up to, like, you can use for 1 point, 2 point, but for bigger points we use double. So it is used basically for scientific calculations where we need to calculate big decimal numbers, so it is more precise in that things. So the last is char, based on character. So it is usually used to store a single digit like a or 7, like your grades or roll number, like that. And here you can see the example of it. And these are all variable, and this we consider as variable declaration. And what are these, we're going to study in our next slide, and how to declare it. So let so we understand what are different types of data types that we use in a variable. So now we are going to study variable declaration. So how we declare a variable. So there are basically two rules while declaring a variable. So first we tell what type of data it will store, and second what name we want to give it. So first we write what type of data type and a variable name. The data type tell us the computer what kind of data we will be storing, like number, decimal or character, and variable like we giving a unique name to our data, or giving name to our variable. So suppose we are going to store some numbers, so we use the int because it stores number, and we're giving a unique variable name, that is age. And if we are going to store some decimal numbers, then we are going to use float data type, and the variable name we are going to use it. The variable name depends on us what we are going to give it a name. Here I am giving it price. And if we are going to store single characters, then we are going to use char, and the unique variable name is grade. So I already explained you what those int, float, char means and what are those functions. So while declaring a variable, we first give what type of data types are we going to store in it, and give a unique name to the variable, like age, price and grade. So declaration and initialization. So initialization means giving a starting value when the variable is created. So means assigning a value together. So while programming, we can give a specific values to our data variables. So here I am giving a variable like 20 to int age, and 99.5 to float price, and char grade to and a to char grade. The, so the data types and variables and the data you input here depends on on the demand of the user, and it changes according to the programmer. So that what kind of function he is going to use, or what kind of data types he's going to use according to the need. Like if he's going to use numbers, decimals, or character, so he or we will use int, float, or char. So this is how we declare a variable. First we write the data type and the variable name. So after we study variable declaration, so we are going to study some rules for naming variables. Like we just can't give any kind of name to the variables, to the data types. So the first rule is a variable must start with a letter or an underscore. Like here you can see we started the name, where we can start with a name or dash count, but we can't start it is a number or a special letter. Second, variable names cannot contain spaces. Like here we can give like this expression like dash, or here is no spaces, but we can't give spaces, so this is not allowed. And third rule is only letters, digits, and underscore are allowed. Like here you can see roll number 90, value 120 is allowed. Like special digits, the symbols like hash are not allowed. Number 4 is case sensitive. So every word has a different meaning. Like all the small letter h has a different meaning. The one capital letter in h has different meaning, and this all capital letter have different meanings. So all are all different variables. Number 5, cannot use C keywords, like reserved keywords like if, int, float, if, else, return. So these words have special meaning in themselves only, so we can use this. They already have special meanings. Number 6, keep name meaningful. Like we can give marks, salary, or radius. We just can't give some any kind of name like x1, temp, abc. So these are some of the rules that we keep in name while naming that we keep in mind while naming a variable. So the next topic is scope of a variable. So there are two types of variable, local and global. So the scope of variables means the region or part of a program where a variable can be exist or used. So in local variable, declaration is made within inside a function or block. So here we can see that the declaration int x is made within the int main, this function. And in global variable, declaration can be made outside the function. Like essentially the declaration int bg is made outside of this. So in simple, global means accessible everywhere. So you can see you can put the int g or any kind of different type of data types in anywhere outside the functions, where in local, limited to its own block, so it must be inside within its function. So this is scope of a variable, means the reason where a program is means function. So the last topic is memory allocation. So memory allocation is the process of assigning spaces in the computer memory for storing data and variables during program execution. So here is the amount of storage that our data type will consume. Like int will consume 4 bytes, float will 4 byte, double will 8 byte, char will 1 byte. So when I write a variable int age equal to 21, so it means that the computer creates a 4-bit of storage memory block that stores the value 21 inside it and labels it the name age, so we can means refer it to later. So the int means that the variable int age means that it creates a 4-bit of memory to store the 21 data type, 21 the data input give in it by the name of age in computer. So this is memory allocation. So here is a example of some codes. So it's for int example. So here we write a code, the basic code, and int number 25 and value print. So when we run the code, so we get the output 25. So this is the basic for int. So this is an example for float. So here's a little change. While printf is in a printf function, in it we need to use this command, this line, a percentage dot to f, for printing the output of float. So there's a little change. It's a change in every different type of data type. So here we run the code and we get the output 100.25. So here is another example for double data type. So we also the line changes percentage 1f. So the output for this you can see here. So we know we used double for large decimal numbers. So here's the last example of char data type. So you have to keep in mind that while putting the data in it, we need to put it inside single commas, and the line for this is command C, and the output for this will be A. So thank you. This is the end of this topic.